Hello. Um, I made a little mod for a game called Survivalist Invisible Strain, and I just wanted to show off the mod features because I am too lazy to take screenshots of everything and then upload all of them. So instead, we're just going to do a recording. So I've added a dialogue tree. I want to let you know, and that brings up all of my features. The first one is a compliment. The second one is criticism. Um, in the game, it will register it as being, depending on the amount of respect that the other person has for your character, it will register this differently. So if the person doesn't have a lot of respect, they will just be insulted. Whereas if they do have respect for your character, it'll be something more like you you encouraged them to do more. Um, so I'll leave it up to you to play with. Third one is an option to flirt. So you actively have an option to flirt with characters instead of having to wait for like a random interaction to occur. Oops. The fourth one is just an option that I added to test people in case they have the invisible strain of the zombie virus. Um, there's a lot of different reactions in that depending on whether they have it or not, what kind they have, if they've got the subtle version of it or if they've got the excitable version of the invisible strain. And I think there's a couple of extra dialogue options where you can like respond to them depending on how they reply and how they act. And then you can accuse them outright of having it and cause them to trigger their invisible strain, which will then cause them to attack you. There's a little bit of risk with that because if you attack them before it's obvious that they've turned into a zombie, their community will just assume that you're just attacking a normal member of their community, and then they will retaliate. So accuse people at your own risk. Now the last two options I'm particularly excited about. I added a option to curse people with various negative effects, and an option, basically just the positive versions. So far, for the positive options, I've got one that will make them liked by everyone a little bit more. Your bonds are strengthened. Your spirits are lifted just raises their morale, so it makes them happier. Know your efforts are worthwhile will encourage and motivate them, and I believe that lasts for about a week so 7 days of game time. Strength and vitality flow through you. This one increases their constitution. Oops. And to some degree, it is supposed to increase their fitness. But I haven't tested it a lot, so I don't actually know if that works. But I know that the constitution definitely works. Those are my newest features. Who are you attacking? Okay, well, I guess let's just go talk to someone else. Oh. Oh, and your full potential is unlocked. That will just increase all of their skill caps to 5, so that you can teach them anything. You still have to train them. You still have to train them in those skills, but skill caps are increased to 5 now. So these are very cheaty options. A lot of this is like not meant to be balanced. This is just stuff that I find fun to have as a dialogue tree because I enjoy the power trip. Let me get out of this. And the curse options. There's a few things. Your life is spared. Choosing that dialogue option, they will actually remember that you spared their life. They don't remember or talk about the curses. So they will not tell their other community members that you cursed them or anything like that. However, they will remember that you threatened them or that you hurt them. They will have a similar memory. And for most of those options, they will talk about it with their community members, so just be aware of that. There are a few things that I made it so that they wouldn't talk to other community members about. I just tried to keep it so that it's roleplay friendly. But you'll discover that when you try it. Your bonds are decimated, so that curse has two options. One of them is it just makes everybody basically hate them. And that's it. This will generally result in people trying to fight them, people picking fights with them, and just, yeah, people hating them. Which is fun to watch because I like to use that on raiders and looters who try to threaten me. I just think that's fun. The second option for your bonds are decimated will cause them to become kicked by their community. I think it also causes them to become hated by that community, but I can't remember. Anyway, they will be kicked by that community, and then there's a little bit of follow-up. You can do other curses. Doom surrounds you. This makes it so that anyone in their community that they interact with, it's going to lower their morale. I like to use this to sabotage an entire community of looters. So I will curse one person with Doom, and then they'll go back to their community and they'll start interacting with other members of the community, and everyone in that community will just eventually have low morale. Sometimes I will curse multiple people from that community with Doom, just to watch them burn, essentially. And there's the dialogue tree is set up in a way that you can layer on multiple curses without having to go back into the interaction. So there'll be options for adding a curse, adding a curse, adding a curse as you want. Oops. You are banished. This essentially causes them to run away. It makes them afraid of you, and it makes them run away, and it makes them disappear from the game entirely. Your life ends. That just kills them. Just a bit of risk with that one. People will accuse you of being a murderer if you're standing next to a dead body. So what I like to do is I like to use your bonds are decimated, and then I get them kicked from their community, and then I put the kill curse on, because then they're not going to accuse me of murdering one of their community members since they've left the community. Okay, now he has left, so he's part of my community, but he has actually left my community now. It doesn't show that he's left the community. I decided to make it so that the effects of the curse are private, just because I felt like that was a little bit more roleplay friendly. I don't know. I feel like the effects of the curse should be esoteric. Anyway, he is technically no longer part of our community, so anything that happens to him is not going to be an issue to our community. That they're going to ignore it, essentially. Oh, no wait, it did register as him leaving. And then you can layer on the other curses. You can just spare him and let him go. Lower his morale, make him run away and disappear, or kill him. And I'm going to go ahead and show you what the death curse looks like. They have this animation where they think they're on fire, and then bleh, they drop dead. Oh, okay, there it is. Now it's registered that he has left the community. Anyway, yeah, it looks a bit funny on that end. But yeah, I decided to make the whole leaving community event a private thing in the script. So NPCs will act... I don't really know how to explain it. They have technically left the community, but the event of them leaving is private, so you can execute them and they're not going to act like you killed a member of their community. They're just going to be kind of oblivious to that. But the character, I think, will potentially behave as if they're still part of that community, but they won't exactly be welcome. I'm not really sure how to explain it. I haven't looked at the NPC behavior. I just thought it was more interesting that way. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much the gist of the dialogue tree part of the mod. I did add... There is a crafting station, which is literally just a human heart in a dirt circle. And that's got all the crafting recipes for the unique stuff that's added by this mod. There's a few extra things like getting flesh, getting gold. The beating heart is a major component in a lot of these recipes. It functions as a hunting knife, so you can use it to start fires with flint, and you can skin creatures with a hunting knife, and you can do the same with the beating heart. It has other bonuses, like, for instance, you can use the beating heart to attack people and creatures from far away. And it will deal, I think, blunt damage. There's a couple of weapons, Blood Spark, Blood Volley. So Blood Volley just shoots a bunch of arrows. There's a lot of equipment. Blood Sense is equipped to your glasses slot in the game. It will increase your eyesight, as well as increase your cooking skills. Because I don't know, I felt like that was fun. Blood healing, that's essentially just a really strong bandage, like a high quality bandage. So you can use that on yourself and you can use it on other people. Blood Clot Firebomb, that's like a Molotov cocktail, essentially. And yeah, a Blood Essence is kind of like mana. It just allows you to do a lot of interesting things, like you can conjure mineable rocks and ore veins, as well as some plants. It just does a couple of things that I thought were interesting. I have recently added or updated the weapons so that you can create infected ammo. The ammo is called volatile blood. So you can now use infected ammo for these things. And this is Blood Spark. It inflicts, it's totally silent and it inflicts blunt damage. I'm thinking I might add a second one that inflicts fire damage. But anyway. Firebomb. It looks so silly. You're holding a heart and then you chuck the heart. Anyway, I just thought that was fun. Oh, there's a couple of other items. The bottomless cup just has, I think, like a thousand. I don't know what OZ is. I'm Australian. I don't use that system. But it carries a lot of liquid. And essence. This lets you do a lot of interesting things. These are just some things that I thought would be fun to play with. Lets you conjure a handful of seeds. You can create a ritual circle without having to have the crafting materials. Pepper plants, just because I like having pepper in my games. And like a whole pumpkin. So if your character is starving, you can just conjure a bit of food with that. But the main thing that I use it for is for building mineable rocks and ore veins. Because sometimes rocks and ore are just not quite accessible depending on where you've built, depending on how the map was generated and where you've built everything. So I thought that would be a useful thing to have as part of like an end game item. Pretty much everything in this list of stuff that you can do requires you to have a level 5 skill in something. So for instance, I think you need a level 5 skill in farming to produce any of the food and the seeds. And a level 5 skill in construction, I believe it is, to produce mineable ore veins. The tree, I added a custom prop for this because I just wanted a way of getting wood without having to chop down a forest. It's basically, the prop that I've created is basically just a plant that yields one piece of wood when you harvest it or when you clear it. And there you go. Because I find it annoying to chop wood, I also added a transmute wood recipe where you can use blood and one piece of wood to create 6 pieces of wood. So basically you turn one piece of wood into 5 pieces of wood total, because it consumes one piece of wood and some blood to create 6 pieces of wood. So essentially you get 5 extra pieces of wood. And to get blood, you just need to skin some humans. And then you use their flesh to extract blood, right there. And that is the gist of the mod. That's not the gist of the mod, that's the entire mod. Very happy with all of these options. They're really fun to play around with in the game. I think this guy respects me, so I think I can criticize him. Yeah. And that... oh lord. Let me switch. You there. Depending on what you do, it will register in their memory. The curses will register in their memories, but they will not talk about the curses with other people. They will only talk about the fact that you threatened them or that you hurt them in some way. The curses are not talked about, which I enjoy. Um, okay, so this option means that he's going to be hated. Here. Who am I playing as? Vincent? Where the bloody hell? Oh. There he is. So, threatened, cursed. Cursing someone will make them terrified of you, so plus 50 respect. Respect is basically fear in this game. Yeah, threatened, cursed, and hurt. Because whenever you curse someone, it hurts them, and it's a threat, by default. Anyway, yeah, that's the whole mod. I enjoyed making it, I enjoyed playing with it. I hope you guys do too. Bye!